Okay, it is well and truly August 1st, and our new RPG a Day event has officially begun. I'm going to be participating, if all works out, on the day. It has been my habit in the past to record or write blog posts the day before to be released at midnight the day of. I'm going to try and do that differently this year by preparing them on the day itself. So right now, I don't know what tomorrow's entries are going to be, but I do know how they're going to work. On the blog, we're going to describe from the, more or less from the Game Master's perspective, how a scene of a Ghostbusters role-playing game session might play out. And in these videos, we're going to talk about the techniques involved in helping that kind of scene be successful. Okay. I'm also going to try and keep these clips short. I've used my 1 minute or so for introduction, so now let's transition into the clip itself. If you read the blog post, you'll discover the names of our four characters and the funny behaviors that they have, and also the situation that they are in. Today's prompt for RPG a Day 2020 is beginning. So we are outside an abandoned research center which is shrouded in animated vines. And during our session 0, what we identified was that we particularly want that sense of nervous excitement, which in a scary or troubling situation is the sort of thing which pushes people toward humor or black humor, which makes people, step back and let someone else pass them to go first, that kind of thing. It's that feeling when a character on film is going to go into the basement and you're screaming at them, "Don't go in the basement." That's the type of mood we want, not horror, not just comedy, not slapstick, but this sense of, wow, things are really making me uncomfortable or nervous. And we want to encourage the jokes. We don't want to interfere with banter and that blending of in-character and out-of-character dialogue, because that's where a lot of humor from this feeling lies, that ability to distance yourself or separate yourself and look at things from a different perspective. So we don't want to get in the way of that, as we might in a more strictly focused horror scenario. So we're going to encourage out-of-character comments. We're going to encourage references which may or may not be part of the particular universe that we're playing in, like Ghostbusters, without violating the genre. We know that music plays a part of Ghostbusters. We know that biblical and literary references are a part of Ghostbusters. And we know that the characters quote others. And we know that Ghostbusters is one of the most quoted films of our generation. So we're going to embrace all of that. But how do we bring about the sense of nervousness, that sense of activation and anticipation, that sense of worry, that distant sense of dread? One of the first things that we can do is address all the senses, especially senses that you yourself as a game master might normally neglect, but which have a powerful effect on our real lives. Things like the texture, things like the temperature, things like smell. Not just sight, not just sound, but bringing in the other senses. Make them a part of the experience through the description. I don't mean talking a lot. I mean limiting what you talk about to those other senses, maybe at the slight expense of sight, so that there is the desire to know more, which can help feed into that emotion that we're looking for, that uncertain emotion, that nervous emotion. We know we are going to push through fear of financial repercussions, loss and loss of reputation. We know we can push the Ghostbusters into the dangerous situation, but we want the players and their characters to feel nervous about doing so. We're going to talk, as we go through this month, at least two principles, one of momentum, the other of contagion. My time's up for today, but think about the beginning, that opening scene, whenever you're starting whatever kind of campaign it is that you are starting. How do those first few moments set you up for traveling forward into the campaign that is coming? How closely does it meld with what you talked about during the pitch and during whatever session 0 you had? How closely does it match up with what the characters have talked about looking forward to? And how easy will it be for you to maintain that momentum? And how will it spread throughout the players to take root and get everybody pulling in the same direction? All right, I'll see you tomorrow.